Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to talk about how much does each item in the game actually worth. This is so that whenever you get events such as night treasure hunting, when you have a choice between different items, you are then able to know which one is the most valuable. And likewise, whenever you do any kind of redemptions of another currency, whether it's in through events or in your shops, you kind of know which one is actually the most valuable out of all of this and therefore should be the one that you're exchanging for. Some of the game items might be really straightforward. For the likes of your summoning stones, I can get 10 summons with 2,700 diamonds. So clearly, each summon stone is worth about 270 diamonds. So that's pretty straightforward. But some of the other items, such as your armor items or your constellation items, it may not be so straightforward as to how much they're actually worth in the game. Now, sometimes there is a price tag in the shops that you're able to see. However, I don't always trust the discount they give because obviously the game may value that at a slightly different price to how much should they actually be valued at. So use this to your advantage to find out at which times you're actually getting a bargain in the game. So for which events you should be redeeming which items for. Um, I'm gonna start off with some really simple ones, like I mentioned. Summoning Stone is worth 270 diamonds because you are always able to buy 10 times for the price of 2,700. So it's quite clear the value of Summon Stone is always going to be 270. Now, there's also this yellow element stone. The game seems to value it a bit more pricier than the value of a green summon stone. However, in my opinion, they are actually the same value to me, because even though for this you're able to choose in a banner where you're able to choose what elements you want, as you get higher level, you would find out that actually, from level 11 onwards, a lot of time you're able to use knights of any element as your food. So to me, there's not really so much extra importance for me to actually get exactly the same knight uh, element because even if I get a 5-star knight of a different element, I am still able to use their food to power up, to level up the knight that I really want. So you could maybe argue yellow summon stone is worth a tiny bit more, just a tiny bit more. So maybe 300 diamonds or something. But in my head, it's actually a similar value to a green summer stone. So I will probably value it somewhere between 270 diamonds to 300 diamonds per piece. Then you can go to Star Wheel. Star Wheel is also a very straightforward one. I have already used my summoning times today, but you are able to summon 10 times for 5,000 diamonds. So therefore, each divine stone here is worth 500 diamonds. Now let's talk about the value of magic stones. One of the main ways you obtain magic stone is through your idol rewards or through your hourglasses, etc. Both of which are tied to your level. So the higher is your level, the more magic stones you'll be getting. Currently, I'm at level 184 at the time of the recording. If I go into my hourglass, you will see that remember the hourglass is this one's actually for 2 hours. So for 2 hours, I'll be getting 77 magic stones. Now, obviously, I'm not at the highest level in the game. I'm sure there are lots of other players at much higher level than level 184, but we all know it's a lot harder for you to level up as you get to the later stages, etc. So I'm just going to be conservative and assume, Magic Stone roughly worth about, for every 2 hours, you will roughly get about 80 Magic Stones. Now, if we think about how we then want to base this off and translate this into diamonds, um, for either reward, obviously you get rewarded based on how long you're away from the game, based on time. So you don't really have a diamond element to it. And hourglass, you are not able to buy that straight away using diamonds either. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna base it off the prayer, so goddess blessing. Now I have actually used my prayer today for the events, so I'm not gonna value each prey at 100 diamonds. You normally start off at for being free, but also you are then able to get your first goddess blessing paid one for 50 diamonds. Now 50 diamonds would allow you to receive an autoplay income of 120 minutes. Now most of the time it will be the likes of your magic stone, your experience, a bit of gold, etc. Sometimes we are lucky also get equipment, etc. But let's just ignore that for the sake of easy calculation. Now, 120 minutes is also 2 hours. So what this actually means is that you are able to trade 2 hour worth of magic stone with 50 diamonds. Now I'm gonna assume zero value for your experience and gold coin because to be honest, as you get to the later stages, you literally get so much of them that you would never, you wouldn't pay anything for them. So they will, to me, is a value of zero. That's 0 diamonds for sure. Now I'm gonna discount all of the small chance of you obtaining equipment, etc. And I'm purely gonna assume for your prayers, you are only gonna get purely 2 hour worth of magic stone. So that basically means you would be translating your 50 diamonds to roughly about 80 magic stone. So to me, the value of a magic stone is worth 1.6 diamond per piece. Now let's talk about the value of night fragments. As we already mentioned earlier, each summon stone is worth 270 diamonds, and for each summon stone, you have a certain rate of getting 2-star knights, 3-star knights, and 5-star knights. So you can actually do a bit of equation by putting the rate of each knight times by the value of that knight. Add them up together, and they should equal 270. Now, because you have three different variables here, you won't be able to solve this equation straight away. So you actually need to find out the relationship between, how much is a 3-star knight worth compared to a 2-star knight? How much does a 5-star knight worth compared to a 3-star knight, etc. And there is one way of to do this, and that is to do it through the soul coin, which you get from dismissing a knight. So now for a 2-star knight, if you try to dismiss it, you find out that it would generate 100 soul coin and also 5 magic stone. We already talked about the value of a magic stone earlier, so you can convert that to diamond already. So what then that means is that we need to convert all of the value of knights into soul coin. So one 2-star knight is equal to 100 soul coin plus 5 magic stone. And then if we actually go into the shop itself, you will find out that one 3-star knight is worth 960 soul coins. So that's roughly 9 2-star knights. And likewise, you won't see it here for the 5-star knights, but you can actually think about it in your head when you talk about the Hall of Knights. To get 5-star knight, what you need to do is you need to get 3 4-star knights. And for each 4-star knight, you need 3 3-star knights. So, you already know the relationship between 5-star knights and 3-star knights, which is one 5-star knight is worth 9 3-star knights. So now you have all of the relationship between how the value of 2-star knights, the value of 3-star knights, and the value of 5-star knights. You can then actually solve the equation to work out how much does each one of them value in diamonds. Now I won't bore you with all of the maths, but I have done all the calculations in the background, and it turns out the value of a 5-star knight is roughly 2,372 diamonds. A 3-star knight will be worth in 264 diamonds. So now if you can then convert them into fragment pieces, what you would then find out is that for every single gold fragment, so remember you need 60 fragments in order to make a knight, assemble into a knight. So for each single fragment of a 5-star knight, it is valued at 39.5 diamonds. And for each single fragment of a 3-star knight, it's worth 4.4 diamonds. So now you already have the value of each fragments in your head. You can then make decisions such as, should I buy them in a shop? How much do they actually worth? So as I mentioned, one 5-star knight fragment is worth 39.5 diamonds. Here I have an offer of that I can buy 5 fragments for 108 diamonds. If I was using my value of a 5-star knight fragment, then I will find out that normally 5 fragment pieces will actually cost me just under 200 diamonds. So this is actually a really good deal in order for me to get 108 diamonds. Now let's talk about the value of some other items in this game, mainly the ones that you will be using for your armor and also for your constellations, etc. Now, you can't actually buy them at any time in the game with diamond, unlike your summoning where you can always pay 2,700 for 10 summons, etc. You don't have those luxuries in the game for constellation and armor, so it's a bit of more of a waiting game. The only way you can kind of buy them directly with diamond is in the shop. So even though I mentioned earlier, don't trust the face value of certain items in the shop, the discounts, actually calculate your own values. Now, because for Constellation Armor, you don't really have any other brutes, so you probably do have to actually use the diamond value that you are able to buy them with in the shop as a guide for how much they're worth. Now, so let's start off with the Gold Knight Blood. So here you can buy 10 gold night blood with 810 diamonds. I'm gonna ignore the discount here because I always see it with a 10% discount, to be honest. So at this means essentially each gold night blood is worth 81 diamond, and likewise each of those constellation orb was 0.9 diamonds. Now, the next thing you want to do is then convert them to some of the other items. So what you can then do is you look into your sign-in boxes. Now, this, once again, you don't always get this every single day, but you do get them quite a few times every single month. So I think it's a good value ratio between the items. So if we take this one, for example, special resources option box. So here you can already tell that I have a choice between the Grace of Goddess and also this constellation orb. It's a value of 1 to 10. So one Grace of Goddess is worth about 10 of this constellation orbs. So I just talked about earlier, if I actually buy in the shop, each constellation orb is worth 0.9 diamonds. So I can then convert it to work out the value of each Grace of Goddess. It's roughly going to be around 9 diamonds. Similarly for close materials for your armors. There's a reason why I never talk about Silver Knight Blood, because you actually get abundance of them through your 12 palaces game mode. Well, not abundance, but you do get a lot of them. So there's not really any point of buying them with diamond. If you see them ever buyable with gold coins, then I'll definitely recommend you buy them. But in my opinion, they're not really worth spending diamonds on, which is why I only talk about the Gold Knight Blood and also Blood of God. Now, for Gold Knight Blood, I did mention earlier, if you buy it at the shop, it's roughly worth about 81 diamond each. Now, there's a ratio of 2.4 between the Blood of God to Gold Knight Blood. So this would mean that each Blood of God is gonna roughly worth about 194 diamonds as well. So this already gives you an estimate of the ratio between the various different items in the game and how much they all worth individually in terms of diamonds. Now, with all of this knowledge in your head, you are then able to use them to your advantage in different shops and in different events whenever you have the option of choosing between different items. So take this event of night treasure hunting as an example, where you're able to choose a jackpot for each floor. If I actually work out and convert all of this item into diamond values, you will find out, your summoning stone was 540 diamonds, your divine stone was 500 diamonds, your constellation ones here was 405 diamonds, which are a lot higher value than the rest of the items here. On the opposite end, if I actually convert it to a 5-star knight fragment pieces, which I certainly know a lot of people do that because you do get 5-star knight. Sounds great on paper, right? But if you actually convert it to how much diamonds this is worth, this is only worth 200 diamonds. So that's only half of the value of your constellation ones here. So, it may not actually be the most optimal choice in this case. So having all of this knowledge can definitely help you to make some better decisions whenever you need to choose between items. Now, of course, having said of that, this is only a guide. This is, take it as a rule of thumb. This is the face value of the item. Your personal circumstances may actually inflate the value of certain items because you are in a higher demand for them. A good choice, a good example to talk about is, for example, here, when I need to redeem my this event currency, strange fragments, into one of the items. You know, in long run, for example, the Blood of God is one of the best value items here, so I'll highly recommend people to get that. But that's in the long run. If I actually talk about short term, you may actually find out that maybe you are just in particular need of one night. Having the ability to get one extra night is gonna suddenly push you forward by 20 levels, and that then means you're able to clear, I don't know, 4 more maps, 5 more maps, get a ranking much higher in PvP, etc. as well. So maybe even though it's worth still to get a knight in this kind of currency redemption, however, this is able to give you a boost in your short-term performance in the game. So then there's a bit of a trade-off whether you actually want to choose an item because it's a better return or better face value in long term, or whether you actually want to choose a knight or some other item which is going to give you a boost in short term potential. So there are some decisions that you still have to make based on your own personal circumstances. But hopefully my video today would be able to help you, or at least give you all the information for you to make a more balanced decision, because now you actually know what is the face value of each item, and then you are able to take that into consideration when you do make your choices. That's all for the video today. If you enjoyed the content, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me to know that there are actually people out there benefiting from my guide and motivate me to share more knowledge in the future. If there's any topic that you want me to cover, please drop me a note in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you next time.